All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us from wherever you're catching the show. Bassebo ne bannyabo mbaaniriza ate era ekiri ku parliament essaawa zino wetwogerera bassebo ne bannyabo, Uganda yeetaaga okuteeka mu ssaala ennyo ennyo. Live and direct okutuusaako what is happening mu dakiika ntono nnyo from now, just a few minutes from now. Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda esuubirwa okutuula okusalawo ebyenkomeredde oba etteeka erimanyikibwa nga protection of the sovereignty bill liyisibwa oba teriyisibwa. Ekiri ku Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda tekyawukanako oba kyefaananyirizaako n'ekyali ku Parliament eyo omwaka ogwa 2019. Ababaka bwe baatuula ne bayisa etteeka eryali lijja ekkomo ku myaka gy'omukulembeze w'eggwanga Uganda gye baali bayita age limit bill. Etteeka lino first and foremost bassebo ne bannyabo erigenda okuba nga liyisibwa mu dakiika ntono nnyo from now kikkirizibwa era kati tekikyakwekebwa. Etteeka lino ekiragiro ky'oddiyisa kyava ewa mwami Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Oluvannyuma lw'abantu okukuba ebituli mu tteeka lino bassebo ne bannyabo, a few days ago Museveni yavaayo n'akola post gye yakola yategeeza nti etteeka lye yagamba ababaka, in fact mu post yagamba lino si lyetteeka lye nabagamba okuyisa. Mu bufunze Museveni yeetema engalike. As we talk right now, gwe andaba ku mukutu, njagala nkulage ekiri ku Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda okusinziira ku getufuna. Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda yasembayo okujjula oba parking y'ababaka ba Parliament ku Parliament yasembayo okujjula otuuka waneeno bassebo ne bannyabo ebiseera byali bya age limit. Ababaka lwe baavaayo ne bateeka oba ne bayisa etteeka erijja ekkomo ku myaka. Olunaku olwaleero Parliament ejjudde to capacity. Ababaka abaali batalabikangako nga tebajja mu Parliament olunaku olwaleero bassebo ne bannyabo balabise era Parliament parking ejjudde to capacity. Obukuumi oba security eri ku Parliament amazima ga Katonda mugulu nange mbadde naaluddo giraba. Tebakuuma Parliament yokka wabula n'ebifo ebirinaanye Parliament. Kino kitegeeza ki? Nti etteeka lye bayisa bayinganga abakukuse. Ekimu ku bye mmanyi ku Museveni is Museveni ye musajja atatera kunyooma era akozesa nnyo example z'abaneiba be oba abakulembeze banne. Mujjukira we baali bayisa etteeka mu ggwanga erya Kenya, Abannakenya lye baagaana. Abannakenya baasalako Parliament nga ababaka bali mu kuteesa. Olunaku olwaleero ekiteekeddwa ku Parliament y'eggwanga Uganda, first and foremost okuyingira omulyango gwa Parliament okusinziira ku batuuseeyo, omubaka Zaake Francis Butebi avuddeyo n'ategeeza nti ekiri ku Parliament naye yaludde kiraba. Okutuuka obutuusi ku mulyango n'omubaka kabe leader of opposition kasita oba nga oli wa opposition obuuzibwa akana n'akataano okusinziira ku Zaake ayingidde Parliament. Bye bino ebigambo byatunyonyodde ku biri ku Parliament.
SFC yonna ejjudde wano kika naye teri kuyisa bbiiru eno ejjako bannayuganda obwetengerere bwabwe okubanga omuntu kyali munnayuganda kuba omuntu teri asobola kusindikira kasente kuva bweru. Ebyo tubiganye ne bwe munaakola mutya. Leero nkedde ku Parliament wano naye si just kwewa makulu naye okutuuka ku Parliament awo n'obuuza Zaake nti ye gwani ng'oli musirikale. Kindaze nti leero ekiri ku parliament kigenda kuba kyangu. SFC yonna ejjudde wano kika naye
okay, eyo bigambo bya Francis Zaake Butebi. Now etteeka lino okusinziira ku mawulire ge tufuna kigambibwa mbu olwaleero lwe tugenda okumanya either etteeka liyisiddwa oba teriyisiddwa. Olunaku olwaleero ababaka we bagenda okuvaayo babeere nga bayisa ensonga eno. Okusinziira ku bintu bye tuzze tulaba bassebo ne bannyabo, amateeka gonna agabadde nga gayisibwa in most cases gabeera galina a certain group oba a certain person gwe gabeera gatunuulidde. Era abakugu abategeera ebitabo abatali ffe bagamba nti etteeka lino ebitundu byonna ebisinga almost ebitundu 95 ku buli 100 litunuulidde opposition, and to be specific batunuulidde ekibiina ekimanyikibwa nga ekya National Unity Platform. Okusinziira ku clauses ezaateekebwa mu tteeka lino gwe ssebo oba nnyaba ndaba baateekamu clause egamba nti omuntu yenna ajja kukkirizibwa kufuna ssente kuva mu muntu w'ebweru. Okategedde? No, in fact tebamugaana kufuna ssente wabula bagamba nti okufuna ssente omuntu oyo ajja kubanga ayina kufuna lukusa okuva mu gavumenti. Obumu ku buwayiro obusinze okukyankalanya bannayuganda ne bagamba era abantu abalengerera ewala ne bava ne bategeeza ensi nti this law is purposely meant okuggalira ekibiina kya National Unity Platform because NUP ebadde efuna obuyambi okuva mu bantu abali ebweru. Now this is one of the clauses esinze okukyankalanya bannayuganda. Bakugamba nti a person or an agent of foreigner shall not directly or indirectly obtain, solicit or receive any financial support, donation, loan or other assistance from a foreigner, whether in cash or in kind of excess of 20,000 currency point within a period of 12 months without clearing the funds. The written approval of the minister. Era nga bagamba nti a person or agent or of foreigner who obtains, solicit or receive directly or indirectly funds, financial support, donation, loan or other assistance from a foreigner without declaring the funds with written approval in accordance with the section commits an offense and is liable on conviction. Wofuna sente enyingi nga ziri mu 20,000 currency point, oyina okuba nga ofuna olukusa okuva mu gavumenti, ate oyina zifuna mu myezi 12. Nti woogendayo n'obagamba nfunye sente zizino, oyina kuddamu zifuna nga wayise emyezi 12. Wozifuna guno omwezi mu gw'omunaana era n'oddamu n'ozifuna, ezo sente ogenda kubanga ozizza omusango era ogenda kubanga omenye amateeka okusinziira ku tteeka lye baagala okuyisa. Bwe bumu ku buwaayiro ne clauses ezisinze okukyankalanya abantu. Bassebo ne bannyabo, mu ddakiika ntono nnyo from now, Parliament egenda kubanga etuula, era ngenda kugezaako okuba nga nkutuusaako event eno, ogenda kubanga ogiraba. We are going to try to broadcast it waneeno such that munnayuganda obeere nga omanya what exactly is happening. But what I can tell you right now is security eri mu kibuga Kampala oyinza olowooza waliwo omutujju. Oyinza olowooza waliwo omutujju. Now okusinziira katono nnyo okusinziira ku mawulire ge tufuna list yalinkinze. List eno yalinkinze yabadde etegeeza ki? Bakugamba nti katono nnyo wano eno omukutu ogumanyikibwa ng'ogwa Parliament Watch gukugamba the leaked report from Parliament Joint Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs and the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the Protection of Sovereignty Bill has indicated that 60 stakeholders appeared before the Joint Committee to submit their views on the Sovereignty Bill. Era list eyo basabo ne bannyabo yafulumye. Naye ekyabadde emunyonyo ndowooza mwena mwabadde mukigoberera. Twalabye ababaka nga beeyuzaayuza. Ng'ensonga ebeeyuzisa bagamba nti waliwo abantu abagezaako okubaako ne bye bayisaawo nga tebabikkiriziganyizzaako nga bba ababaka. Era akavidiyo kaafulumye nga kakulaga nti mweyo meeting yabadde emunyonyo nga bateekateeka ensonga eno because bayina emisoso n'emitendera kwe bayita. Bayina emisoso n'emitendera kwe bayita okuyisa etteeka lino. Era bayina bye basooka okukola, bayina bwe batuula, abantu abatudde eyo bayina okubaako ne bye bakkiriziganyaako. Era bayina ennamba y'abantu bakkiriza nti tuwakkiriziganyiza era bano baagambye nti eriyite oba teriyita. Wekiba nga tekibadde bwe kityo, etteeka eryo bassebo ne bannyabo litandika okulabika ng'etteeka erikubiddwamu ebituli. Naye abasajja bo baagambye nti tugenda kuliisa mu mbeera yonna era bamaliridde okuliisa. Now ababaka abasinga batandise ovaayo okubaako ne kye boogera ku tteeka lino okwongera otangaaza bannayuganda obubi bw'etteeka lino. Omubaka Betty Namboze Bakireke naye yavuddeyo n'ayogera ku tteeka lino. Bw'ati bwe yayogedde olunaku olw'ejjo. Katukomewo after this tovaawo.
If we don't use this opportunity of the sovereignty bill, if we don't use it, this opportunity to redefine who we are as a parliament, we are going to be recorded unfortunately as the worst parliament since independence. Every opportunity we have had to assert ourselves as a parliament, we have wasted it. Increasingly, we have given ourselves away into the executive. The executive has eaten deep into parliament in the last 5 years than ever before, and it is so unfortunate. This is what most probably the speaker called, referred to as walloping the opposition. As she wallops the opposition, we have given away the independence of parliament, and together with it, our powers to check the executive, to come up with good laws, and to be able to throw out bad legislation. So many bad things, policies have been introduced around this time. I've never seen a parliament. I've been here for 16 years. I was briefly in the 8th parliament, I was in the 9th parliament, I was in the 10th parliament, and now I've been in the 11th parliament. But never before have I seen a parliament that has completely forgotten that we are a different arm of government, that we are not part of the executive. And, to appear to be against the positions of the executive in this parliament, the 11th parliament, is to be considered like, you are looked at as an enemy of even the house itself. The more you try to raise issues that to assert ourselves as another arm, a separate arm of government from the executive. Today you cannot draw the line between the executive and parliament. Even when we went into the campaigns, you saw our speaker campaigning vigorously for a candidate. That would never happen before. A speaker attending caucus meetings, a speaker referring to a president like say, I want to thank the president for allowing me to give honorable numbers the money for treatment. You see that for everything to be done in the parliament, we first seek the approval of the president.
Okay, enkyaya leero before ng'ababaka tebanaba bayingira mu kuteesa oba mu kusalawo oba etteeka lino liyisibwa, ababaka abali mu NRM aba NRM caucus bavuddeyo ne bayita olukuŋŋaana era chief whip waabwe oba nampala waabwe akedde ku makya n'ayita ababaka abo ogenda mu kafubo era mu kaseera ke kamu n'ababaka abali ku ludda oluvuganya nga bakulemberwa Right Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi nabo bakedde mu kafubo okubaako ne be bateesa. Kye tulinda kiri kimu bassebo ne bannyabo. Now, amawulire ge tufuna mu mbeera y'emu aba NRM okusinziira ku kiwandiiko kyenfunye just a few minutes ago bayisizza era ne bategeeza nti bagenda kuba nga basapootinga etteeka lino. Okusinziira ku kiwandiiko ekyo kye twakafuna ku mikutu egy'enjawulo, aba NRM bo bagamba nti they are going to be in support of this bill. Njagala nfune ekiwandiiko kino nkikusomeremu ate naawe okirabe. Remember meeting gye babaddemu a few minutes ago aba NRM n'aba opposition nga bakulemberwa Joel Ssenyonyi bafunye meeting era mu kaseera ke kamu. Now ekiwandiiko ky'olengerawo gwe ssebo bannya bandaba njagala tukiyitemu. Bagamba nti National Resistance Movement NRM Parliamentary Caucus 5th May olunaku olwaleero 2026 Office of the President resolution ebadde mu meetings ezino ze bayisizza njagala tuziyiteeyitemu otegere wa we tulaga because mu dakiika ntono nnyo bagenda babatuula. We the members of the National Resistance Movement NRM Parliamentary Caucus meeting at the Office of the President Conference Hall on Tuesday 5th May olwaleero, recognizing the imperative obligation of safeguarding Uganda's sovereignty, national security, constitutional order, and socio-economic stability in an increasingly complex global and domestic economic. Appreciating the strategic guidance provided by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda and NRM chairman, guided by the presidential and discussion of the harmonized position of government regarding the protection of the Sovereignty Bill 2026 as presented by Minister of Internal Affairs and further guided by the Attorney General, acting in the spirit of consensus, cohesion, and collective responsibility, hereby resolve to support the harmonized petition of government regarding the protection of the Sovereignty Bill. Nasako mukono omukulu amanyikibwanga Obuwa Dennis Hamson MP Government Chief Whip Chairperson NRM Parliamentary Caucus. Kino kitegeeza ki nti bo beewaddeyo okufaana obutanyagwa etteeka lino ligenda kubanga liyisibwa. Now, we nabadde mbulirizaako criteria ze bayitamu okuyisa amateeka mu parliament, we basituka ne balonda speaker agamba nti the nays have it, oba bawangudde n'agamba nti waliwo ab'opposinga. Singa ababaka ab'opposinga basituka ne baba nga bawera 40, kiba kitegeeza etteeka eryo ligenda kuddamu okwekkennenyezebwa. We baali bayisa etteeka lya UPDF, ekintu ekyo kyahapeninga we baali kukusa ne baliyisa. We speaker we yatuuka kanyumera ako, ababaka ba opposition nga bakulembeddwa Joel Ssenyonyi basituka nga basukka 40 bassebo ne bannyabo. Abasajja bafunvubira ne bamala no lyali tteeka lya coffee because erya gundi bafuluma. Yes, lyali tteeka lya coffee, yes, if I'm not mistaken, because erya UPDF bafuluma. Waliwo etteeka awo basituka nga bawera 40 basukka 40. Speaker yafunvubira n'aliyisa era ndowooza we yayogera n'ogamba nti make sure the Bagandas don't have numbers. Bassebo ne bannyabo abatulaba, embeera egenda okubeera ku parliament eyinza obutaba nga mbeera ya bulijjo. yes eyinza obutaba mbeera ya bulijjo era gwe wenna ndaba njagala okutegeeza ebigambo bino tugenda kulaba we might see something kyetubadde tuludde olaba embeera eri ku palamenti yakoma okubeerawo mu biseera ebya bagita batya ebya age limit we bayisiza etteeka ku myaka gy'obwa president. Now okusinziira ku mawulire agenfuna manyi kati ndi mu kunoonya left right center. Now omukyala amanyikibwa nga Dr. Sarah Birete ku mukutu gwa X agambye how many MPs will vote today. N'agamba out of 333 MPs contacted, 85 are against, 23 in favor, and the rest are either undecided or unavailable. Kati abasajja batukubidde wano nno empiki njagala owulirize. Bakugamba okusinziira ku babaka abalina olona mu palamenti bali 333 be baali contacted ku tteeka lino. So far mugetufuna 85 bagamba etteeka teriyinayita, mulimu n'aba NRM. Naye bagamba 23 bo bagamba etteeka liyinayita. So far abasigadde tebannaba kusalawo era tebannaba kutegeezebwa. Naye we tutuukidde eddakiika nga 2 emabega nkuzanyidde ka vidiyo akalaga embeera eri mu parking ya parliament nga ejjudde tu capacity. Kitegeeza bano abasigadde nabo bayitiddwa. Abasajja bagenda tukuba hands down nga bayita mu kye bayita the majority okubanga batusinga en numbers. Remember NRM eina ababaka bangi nnyo mu parliament. Ndowooza lyerino etteeka erigenda okubanga lyerigenda osembayo okubanga lyerisembayo okuyisibwa parliament eno because next week lwetusuubira okubanga tufuna parliament empya webagenda olayira. So basabo ne bannyabo embeera eri mu ggwanga Uganda yeeyo. Etteeka lya protection of the sovereignty bill bali mu kubanga bakola buli kisoboka okulaba nga bali kukusa nga baliisa mu parliament because abasinga beebuuza etteeka lino lwaki ddyo lyayanguyibwa mangu. Baalyogerako olwalyogerako mu ddakiika ntono nnyo ne baliyisa mu ddakiika ntono nnyo ne liyisibwa. We babadde bali emunyonyo ababaka banene we babadde bali emunyonyo omukulu amanyikibwa nga Honorable Nzijani yavuddeyo n'aprotestinga nga yeemulugunya because olagamba Honorable Zenjani protests against the Rouge chair for manipulating the joint committee proceedings about the sovereignty bill. Omukulu ono yavuddeyo n'alaba nga bye bakola mu butuufu obuzannyo bwe bazannya bususse era n'ava ne mu mbeera ne batuuka ne mu level ey'okwagala okukuba ebikonde. Kyekino ekyabaddeyo wali emunyonyo abantu bayogedde ku nsonga eno wankubadde nga yabadde ekavalingiddwa. Twabadde tuli awo nga tukyayogera ku nsonga eno ne tuwulira amawulire nti Bank of Uganda baagibbye. Abantu ne badda ku Bank of Uganda naye nga baabadde babuza kino. This is what exactly happened. Wuliriza.
You send us documents to go and read, address ourselves to the submissions of the stakeholders. Chair, we obeyed you. Chair, we obeyed you. We went and read the submissions of stakeholders. They are here. They are here.
Chair, we are calling for division of the
No, they are here.
We are standing up.
No, we are protesting. Why are you going broke? Why are you doing us? Why are you disregarding the submissions of stakeholders which you yourself said that you can't address our mind? They are here. They are here.
Yes.
My issue is in the object. My issue is in the the object.
Clause 3, we are 5
Now
members standing
you are
up.
proceeding
And I
alone.
wanted
You are proceeding alone. It's
I
proceeding
now
alone.
put a question that those five
But
members
why are you
are
putting
standing
a
up.
question when you gave us an
Those in
assignment
favor say yes,
which
the
we
contrary
humbly
nay.
went and addressed ourselves with?
Close to 4, we are
This
now 6
committee
members
is
standing
going
up.
rogue. We are
Challenge.
protesting.
Close to 4 members. We are now 6 members standing up.
The
challenging
submissions
you.
of Ugandans are here.
We
The
are now
submissions of Ugandans are here.
We are now 6 members say yes to the contrary law. 6 members are standing up. We are 6 members standing up challenging you.
Stakeholders issues
Close
here.
number 6.
Chair,
We are 6 members here
my
standing up. We
issue
are
is in the
challenging
object
you.
of the bill.
I now put a
It
question
was
that
raised by
clause 5, we are
PFF.
formed part of we are
Let
6 members
Ugandans
standing up
know
in favor
that
of
this committee
as amended.
is, that you
We
are
are
fooling the
6 members
committee.
say yes, the
You are
contrary no.
propagating your own interest. No. There is no I. Why did we not listen to this?
As amended,
I spent
we
a
are
million
6
listening
standing
to
up.
briefing this, Chair. Chair, what are you saying?
These people.
They sent us 362 pages. They are here.
Put your damn hands down.
These are Ugandans. These are Ugandans. Fox Oyolowo. This is what the chairman said to me.
Yes, we are 6
I
members. Please
pleaded on the
stand
left.
up.
Why did I plead on the
We
left?
are 6 members standing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, eyakatwegattako nsanyusa okulaba era ndi wano okutegeeza nti tuli wano eno okuyita mu nsonga ezitambula right now. Ogenda ku mukutu ogumanyikibwa ng'ogwa X, ekisinga trendinga ly'etteeka lya protection of the sovereignty bill. Ababaka ba NRM balabika bo bamaliridde okuba nga bayisa etteeka lino. Etteeka lino okusinziira ku bannayuganda abasinga bagamba nti etteeka lino ligenda kubanga likugira obanga lyonoona obanga liremesa eggwanga okuprosparinga. Okusinziira ku Museveni we yavaayo n'ayogera ku nsonga eno, yavaayo n'ategeeza nti etteeka lye yatuma ababaka ba NRM okuleeta si yaleese, naye era abakugu bagamba bino byonna bikolebwa okubanga babuzaabuza obanga bamiyandalinga, naye ng'ekikulu ekiri mu tteeka lino kye baagala okubanga bavuga ensi yonna ekimanyi. Now, ebintu ebisinga okwewuunyisa eggwanga Uganda nti etteeka lino speed gye litambuliddeko y'amaanyi nnyo. Etteeka lino baliddusizza nti baavaayo ne balyogerako, bwe bamala odyogerako mu bwangu obw'ekitalo ne lireetebwa ku floor of parliament. Ekisinga okwewuunyisa nti newankubadde nga aba opposition balwana bukubirire okulaba nga etteeka lino teriyisibwa, naye ekisinga okuba enkyukwe waliwo ababaka aba opposition ate abakolagana n'aba NRM okulaba nga etteeka lino liyisibwa. Era Amawulire Tufuna kigambibwa mbu omusimbi omungi gwayisibwa era gwaweebwa abantu ab'enjawulo. Mujjukira Museveni we yali ekyankwanzi, twawulira nti ababaka ba NRM babawa million 100, era abategeera ebyobufuzi ne batugamba nti ssente ezo zibaweereddwa as a token okuba nga bakola bukubirire okuyisa etteeka lino n'okuba nga bakuutira NRM akadingidi. Now, ekisinga okwewuunyisa, abamu ku babaka aba opposition batandise okuba nga banokolwayo abasuubira okuba nti bawagira etteeka. Mu bano kuliko Yusuf Nsibambi wa Mawokota County, kuliko Henry Musasizi Rubanda East, kuliko Jacob Oboth Western Budama, kuliko Anthony Akol Chilak North, kuliko bangi nnyo n'aba NRM MPs abasinga. Just imagine, these are all opposition MPs mu parliament, okuleka abamu abaasala eddiiro, era almost abasinga ndowooza bonna baasala eddiiro, naye the fact that nti parliament eno egenda okuggalwa, they are considered as opposition, be bano abakulu abamu ku bali mu nsonga oba abawagira etteeka lino libeere nga liyisibwa, etteeka erigenda okuba nga lijjako bannayuganda obuyinza bw'okubeera bannayuganda. Kategedde because waliwo obuwaayiro nga bagamba nti once a Ugandan, once you get out of the country you cease to be a Ugandan. Yensonga etambula mu ggwanga Uganda. Naye nga nyongera okubuuza ku mwenna abatuwaakinga, buli omu gy'osinzira okuba nga otuwaakinga, ndaba waneeno community section ebaazinga nnyo. Hasno agambye ogamba otya Simple MC, thank you so much. Namugga webale nnyo okubanga Koli Prosi agambye nti byabakama Ugandans. Prosi agambye nti byabakama Ugandans we demand our victory. Mama wange Lynn Shafts agambye this is so stupid, mwana munyivu nnyo. Era avuddeyo n'agamba nti bannayuganda twewunza nnyo, no Ugandan can do what Kenyans did. What a shame to all of us. Thank you so much. Kabugo Name agambye Ugandans, let's rise and fight hard. Bambi no bamuyise Hasna agambye already they have given you security alert nti Museveni deploying that's a war. Okay. No Kabugo agambye bannayuganda, singa this day we go on the streets for protest, but I don't know who bewitched us banange, we just shout in hiding instead of doing action. Thank you so much. Awadde ndowooza ye ani ono mulala Patrick Simbwa agambye those acts of dictator are the signs of a failed state, period. Kaputi agambye tetusobola. Lynn Shaf agambye tetusobola, we are busy twerking, gossiping, drinking ourselves silly, sleeping around, going to betting shops, spreading nudity and many more. Ugandans tweryamu cause we think it's Bobby Wine who needs to become Superman, defeat the crooks, then we start fighting for our country. Museveni must go. Thank you so much. Ani omulala waneeno ndi mukuyitaayitamu mu message zammwe ze musindise comment section. Favored agambye shame on my MPs. Donozio Mugabe for Ruhindi is supporting the bill. Okay, I'm liking this. Koni agambye kyayise dda banna kyayise dda be bangi byonna kuwuddisa citizens of Uganda, tewali kibalema. Among yayogera. Okay, thank you so much. So many comments in the comment section. Ono agambye tetuva ku mulamwa, we need DR forms byabakama. Ono agambye nti Muton Bay agambye naye parliament ye yo terina expire date. Parliament ya guno omwaka egenda kubanga eggwako ndowooza munaku ntono nnyo from now, era probably we shall tujja kuba nga tuyingizawo ba MPs abalala. Now it is right now as I talk, saawa ziweze 8 ababaka bayingidde parliament, era tusuubira nti mu ddakiika ntono nnyo from now bagenda kubanga batandika odebatinga kuteeka erimanyikibwa ng'erya protection of the sovereignty bill. Newankubadde nga ffenna tukimanyi nti we are just wasting our time, era wenjogerere abakulu batudde okubanga bayisa etteeka lyabwe. Anita Mong nga ya presiding over this house. Kino kinajjukirwa era kijja kujjukirwa nga omukyala Rebecca Kadaga we yali mu nsonga eno. Gwe ssebo banyabandaba, let me try connect you to what is happening right now in the parliament nga tuyita ku mukutu ogumanyikibwa ng'ogwa parliament. Anita Mong atudde mu parliament agenda kubanga presiding over etteeka erimanyikibwa ng'erya protection of the sovereignty bill. Njagala tubeere ffenna tovaawo nkomawo. Katono nnyo.
and we ensure that we finish what is pending. I should be able to give you the Last Supper on 8th. On 8th, we should be able to give the Last Supper. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I came here but left my heart out because of the unusual deployment. Outside, it's as if Parliament has become a barracks. Soldiers, including UPDF, who are always not here, they came here 8 in the morning. These UPDF listening posts. But there are also faces that are unusual that I have seen in Parliament. So I am raising this procedure, Madam Speaker, seeking assurance from you that what happened the day we processed the coffee amendment bill won't happen today. That day, lights were switched off and people we don't know entered Parliament and kidnapped MPs. So can we get assurance, Madam Speaker? I even saw SCOI. We bought them to go and fight agents of foreign interest, but they are here fighting Parliament. So can we be assured, Madam Speaker, of our safety?
Honourable members, so long as you're in this house, you're all very safe. And unfortunately, I didn't see the deployment. Maybe because I came through the lift. They ran away from me. Hey, but they will not harm my people. Panadol is also here. You know, when there is a Last Supper, everybody has to come. Next item. I'm also happy to see Lop. My Lop. Next item.
Item 4.3 on the order paper, laying of papers, supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026.
Honourable members, on 30th April 2026, the Office of the Clerk of Parliament received a supplementary expenditure schedule 5 of financial year 2025-2026. Can I have order? Honorable members, this supplementary schedule is of an agency. I remember Dr. Kefa raised an issue on the election of LOCs, and the schedule was there, but we did not have the minister then to come and present. We have issues like payment of arrears for local government staff. We have issues like preparation of AFCON. They are all in this supplementary schedule. And because of this agency, I want to request the House that we consider this supplementary. And pursuant to Rule 161 of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to move a motion to that effect. And then after moving a motion to that effect, we will now request someone to move a motion on suspension of this bill going to the committee. Yes, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I was, and I am concerned that you're inviting somebody called the Minister of Finance. I have read the Twitter handle of my brother, the President of the Republic of Uganda. His Excellency Joel Kaguta Museveni says, "Today I chaired the final cabinet meeting of the outgoing government and later hosted members to a luncheon in appreciation of their dedicated service to the country. This is the cabinet that ushered in Uganda into middle income status. And I thank everyone who contributed to this achievement, including cabinet secretaries, for effectively managing." Now, these people, having had their final supper yesterday, actually last evening, and the president saw them off, wishing them well. And now, we are here, still claiming we have ministers. Do we have a cabinet? Guide me, Madam Speaker. The owner of the cabinet dissolved it.
First of all, that is not a treat from your brother. That treat is not from the President of the Republic of Uganda. And being one of the best lawyers in town, you know when cabinet stops. You're now talking about a treat. I didn't know that even a senior advocate would believe in a hearsay, because the law is very clear. Their term of office ends on the day the president is being sworn in. That is on 12th. That's when you can also be appointed as a Minister of Constitutional Affairs. No, that was just a treat. It is not from the president. Yes, Nathan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When you talk of a supplementary, we came in here during our campaigns. We passed a supplementary for Ministry of Works, 1.6 trillion. When we met them, they had only got a pantry of 500 billion. The roads are in a bad state all over the country. So what does a supplementary mean? I thought it would be money directly to go into our roads. The money never reached them. So there is no use of passing a supplementary when the money cannot go to the beneficiaries. It's just like...
So we should not have election for LOC 1s, LOC 2.
No, how sure that the money will go there? We would want to be assurances.
Honorable Nathan.
You would rather leave the elections but have roads repaired. That's why we pass, all of us.
Why didn't you say we would rather not have your elections as a member of parliament?
You could have even postponed, I wouldn't mind. What we are after is Ugandans having roads
Nathan,
to pass.
Nathan, you're saying like that because you escaped narrowly. Otherwise, somebody was going to whip you. Next item.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to lay on table the supplementary schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026, amounting to Uganda shillings 1 trillion 105 billion 163 million. I beg to move. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. That is under Rule 160, Sub-Rule 1 of the Rules of Procedure, seconded by Isaac, by Peter, by Buheshu, by Honorable Bahati, by Honorable Obua, Chwero, by the hollow side, Abe, Elinos, Ibanda, Kisa, Gabriel, Eric, Mariam, Mero, Elijah, Max, Akol, Aru, Okot, Sentai, Angura, Fox, Tom, Kinovere, by the majority. Honorable members, please enter in. Honorable members.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the supplementary schedule number 5 was administratively presented to the office of the Speaker on 29th of April 2006, and I have just also laid it on the table formally.
Correction on 30th.
Oh no.
It was on 30th.
Madam Speaker, I wish to correct the date as 30th April 2026. And Madam Speaker, I wish to present the details of this schedule as follows. Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, there's a procedure matter.
Madam Speaker, the Minister, as per the order paper and rules, he has laid the schedule. But he's also going ahead to do something the rules don't provide. That he's explaining. I don't know under which rule. The Honorable Musasi has been here long. The Speaker suggested to you, but being NRM, you didn't even hear, that if you want to proceed to the next stage, you move Parliament. You don't just raise up as if you are herding cows. You have laid. Now you are justifying. What are you justifying under which rule?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. The supplementary has been laid. Yes, Honorable Fox.
Motion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Rule 17 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, I beg to move that the House be pleased to suspend Rules 163, 4 and 5 of the Rules of Procedure to enable this Honorable House to consider supplementary expenditure number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026 without prior referral to the Budget Committee. I beg to move.
Seconded. Seconded. Seconded by the Prime Minister of Republic of Uganda. the government chief whip, Honorable Bahati, Honorable Musasisi, Honorable Insibambi Yusuf, Honorable Ichwero, by the hollow side. Thank you. Can you just fire while you're moving that?
Right Honorable Speaker, supplementary expenditure number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026 makes provisions for critical areas of expenditure. Expenditure area number 1 is elections for local council 1. Our democratization processes require that we carry out elections all the way to the lowest units of our administration. It's imperative that we provide resources to enable the people of Uganda exercise their democratic rights to elect their local council 1. Number 2, it provides for AFCON. This is one of our flagship projects. We bidded for AFCON. We bidded to host AFCON with other East African states. We need to make provisions for that item. It also provides for the swearing-in ceremony of the President of the Republic of Uganda. This is a culmination of the hard-earned efforts of the people of Uganda who elected their president. We have to provide for the swearing-in ceremony. Lastly, it provides for salary arrears. The people who work for the Republic of Uganda have to be paid. And as a parliament, we have to make provisions for the payment of salary arrears. I request, honorable colleagues, that you support the supplementary expenditure number 5 of 2025-2026.
Yes. You can debate. It has no problem.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The reasons given by both the Minister and the Honorable Fox Odoi, on the face of it, sound reasonable. But let me question the commitment of our servants in government and those that make budgets. When we're enacting the Public Finance Management Act, we put conditions for supplementaries. There are certain things which are foreseeable. Number 1, who in government did not know that we shall have a swearing-in ceremony for the president-elect, and that the functions surrounding that are funded from taxpayers' money, from the budget? Who did not know that the election of LCs are long overdue? For us to be here stampeded into making provision for monies over items we knew. Who did not know that there are servants serving the Republic of Uganda who are supposed to be paid from our coffers? How does someone, the minister, come here today to tell us that you want a supplementary to pay salaries less than a month to the next budget?
Thank you.
I oppose.
Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, before I present the details of the supplementary, I want to appreciate Honorable Segona for his concerns. For an item in the law, Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act is very clear. For an item to qualify for supplementary, it must have been unforeseen at the time of budgeting or unavoidable. Madam Speaker, without wasting much time, I want to be specific. Looking at an item of swearing in, it is true we foresaw that there was going to be swearing in of the president on 12th of May, and we provided the funding to that effect. But what has arisen, what we provided and what is required is different. So what we are asking for is over and above what we provided at the time of budgeting, which is allowable. Madam
It is
Speaker,
basically 3 billion shillings.
it is only 3 billion shillings. Madam Speaker, how I wish the House
Members,
would,
can we have order?
Madam Speaker, I now come to the details of this supplementary schedule.
No, let me hear from the shadow minister of finance. But
Madam,
in the meantime, we in the VIP gallery we have the members elect 12th Parliament. We have Honorable Sumaya Nabawanuka from Obende. You're most welcome. Stop that Nugu. Can you clap for my members? We have Honorable Karunji Annette Umane MP Kabarole. We have Honorable Tracy J. Anthony Isingiro West. We have Honorable Katoto Sylvia Umane MP Chibuku. We have Honorable Goire Moses Budaka County. We have Honorable Arinaitwe Sylvia Umane MP Ruchiga. We have Honorable Ntabasi Harriet from Bwamba County. You're almost welcome. In the VIP gallery also, we have the former Member of Parliament and the Secretary General of Uganda People's Congress, Honorable Bill Fred. They are all here to witness the proceedings. Yes, Honorable Semujo.
I think, Madam Speaker, people who are seated next to my brother, the Honorable Musasizi, you will need to apply a speed meter. Right now, we are still debating the motion to suspend the rules. For the third time, he's going to elaborate on what is in the schedule. And I want Madam Speaker to concentrate on the motion moved by the Honorable Fox Odoi. Appropriation is one of the key functions of Parliament. If you look at Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act, we are required, before we authorize government to spend money, to look at their procurement plans, to look at work plan, and the cash flow. That is a matter of law that the Honorable Fox Odoi, you cannot suspend. Because that suspension means that you are also suspending the requirement under Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act. And the reason is that you are going to spend people's money. Their representative must look at the work plan, procurement plan, and cash flow. I don't want to accuse you of also, Honorable Fox, of leading.
Honorable Semuju, Section 12 is on the annual budget. We are talking about a supplementary.
I agree, Madam Speaker, supplementary is part of the budget because we are supplementing the budget, not something else. So the point I make, Madam Speaker, there is absolutely no way this Parliament seated here will look at procurement plans, will look at work plan and cash flow, and then authorize government to go and spend money. The minister, and I want to thank him, he said you already have money for the swearing in ceremony, you want more. That's the very reason why the Public Finance Management Act was made for us to look at the money that we gave you, if it's not enough, and we do that by looking at the procurement, we look at the work plan, and then authorize you. But for you to come here and blindfold all the MPs and say there is a swearing-in ceremony, because being in hurry does not absolve you of the responsibility of following the law. Because you are in hurry, so you are absolved. You are not. So I want to hear the Honorable Fox Odoi, a lawyer, telling us whether you can also suspend the requirements of the Public Finance Management Act. If there is a provision in any law allowing you to suspend the law, then you can deal with the rules. So, right, Honorable, I'll ask you later to speak as the Shadow Finance Minister. I am now debating like any ordinary MP, and I am opposed to this motion of Fox Odoi that is taking our responsibility of Parliament from scrutinizing requests from government.
Honorable Fox Odoi is only seeking for the House to allow him suspend. And you know how this can be approved. We shall put a question. But meanwhile, Prime Minister, Vice President, and Prime Minister, you're all welcome for this session, as we also prepare for our last supper. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, I am putting a question that Rule 160, Sub-Rule 3, 4, and 5 be suspended to enable direct consideration of the supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 by the House without referral to the Budget Committee and relevant sectoral committees. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that the supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 be approved by this House. Honorable members, we are approving the schedule, then we go to supply. Honorable members, just a minute. He moved the motion. Honorable Kema, Mr. Kema moved the motion. Mr. Kema moved the motion. I mean, he read, and then when he's going to justify it. So, Honorable Minister, after the suspension, you justify. Can we first get a justification? No. Can we have a justification? Okay, I read the item on moving the motion.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, 4 of the Public Finance Management Act states that the total supplementary expenditure that requires additional resources over and above what is approved by Parliament shall not exceed 3% of the total approved budget for that financial year without approval of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, you will recall that Parliament approved supplementary expenditure schedules number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for financial year 2025-2026 as follows. Schedule 1, under 3%, 1,652.29 billion. Schedule 2, still under 3. Schedule 2 for roads above 3%, 1,696 billion. 3, supplementary schedule 3 above 3%, 4,776.11 billion. 4, supplementary schedule 4, transfer to NFA budget following rationalization, 22 billion, totaling to 8,126.4 billion. Madam Speaker, subsequently, Cabinet approved supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 as follows. Within 3%, 519.002 billion. Above 3%, 586.161 billion. Totaling to 1,105,163 million. Right Honorable Speaker, this supplementary will be financed as follows. 1, budgetary allocation 40.21 billion. Additional tax revenue stroke local revenue 6.25 billion. Additional external financing 72.90 billion. Reallocation efficiency in budget execution and cash management 985.80 billion. Madam Speaker, I now go into vote by vote. Madam Speaker, we will spend this supplementary under the following votes.
Honorable members, as you're near the switches, please don't switch off our light.
Number 1, vote 002, State House. Uganda shillings 300 billion to cater for classified expenditures. 2, vote 010, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda shillings 3.8 billion to operationalize Kapeka Farm Service Center. 3, vote 144, Uganda Police Force, Uganda shillings 110.41 billion to finance additional security interventions and emerging contractual obligations owing to the 2026 general elections. This ensured peaceful general elections, as you should have all witnessed. Vote 017, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Uganda shillings 24.850 billion for partial payment for government acquisition of the Electromax 50 megawatt power plant in Tororo. This will enable government to commence the implementation of its energy policy mix that necessitates a 10% generation capacity from thermal power. Vote 126, National Information Technologies Authority, Uganda shillings 21.966 billion. This is additional financing for internet services under the National Information Technology Authority. This situation arose out of increase in internet usage during the financial year by MDAs and local governments following implementation of last mile connectivity. Vote 142, National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, Uganda shillings 20 billion. This is to cover operational shortfalls realized during the ongoing rollout of the antique vaccine. The shortfalls are for purchase of reagents, packaging materials, and recruitment of additional staff. Vote 015, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Uganda shillings 37.90 billion for capitalization of Uganda Development Corporation as an additional investment in Achak Sugar Factory. The second category is self-financing and budget-neutral supplementary requests over and above 3% legal limit, which require prior approval by Cabinet and Parliament, of a total of 586.16 billion for supplementary expenditure Schedule 5 that is above 3% legal limit. A total of 123.03 billion is self-financing and that's budget neutral. The self-financing stroke budget neutral supplementary includes the following: reallocation of Uganda shillings 40.21 billion to cater for additional wage for recruitment of health workers under 19 referral hospitals. Honorable colleagues, there is a need to allocate wage of Uganda shillings 40.21 billion, currently budgeted for under Ministry of Health, to 19 referral hospitals. This is required to cater for recruitment and absorption of critical health workers that were previously being supported. Workers that were previously supporting these hospitals before suspension of USAID funding for essential health services. The beneficial referral hospitals are the following: Butabika Hospital, Arua Hospital, Fort Portal Hospital, Guru Hospital, Hoima Hospital, Jinja Hospital, Kawale Hospital, Masaka Hospital, Mbale Hospital, Soroti Hospital, Lira Hospital, Mbara Regional Referral Hospital, Mubende Regional Referral Hospital, Moroto Regional Referral Hospital, Naguru National Referral Hospital, Entebbe Regional Referral Hospital, Murago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital, Kayunga Referral Hospital, and Yumbe Referral Hospital. Number 2, Uganda shillings 9.92 billion for various local governments, which are also detailed in the annex. 1, Uganda shillings 1.44 billion as unspent balances under the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Program UGIFT that were returned to the Uganda Consolidated Fund at the end of financial year 2024-2025. This funding is required to enable the local governments meet their outstanding contractual obligations under the program for this year. 2, Uganda shillings 2.22 billion for the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development USMAID project as unspent balances that were returned to the Uganda Consolidated Fund at the end of financial year 2024-2025. This funding is required to enable the local governments meet their contractual obligations and avoid.
Right Honourable Speaker, when you began, in your communication at the beginning of this session, you did say, and I applauded you, that even as we exit, we must leave this parliament and the nation clean. Having lost in our attempt to block this supplementary, and pure as a Ugandan, I concede that we lost on that. What I do not concede to is that we have also lost the duty to scrutinize the documents. With the background I have given and the need to do the job you have called upon us to do, may I move that you find pleasure in suspending the proceedings for at least 15 minutes for us to be able to access the documents and follow the proceedings properly so that we support what we know.
Members, don't you have the report?
We don't.
You have the report? The document is online, it was uploaded. No. You know, I gave all of you iPads, and I know my dad here gave it to my little brother. So I actually gave my stepmother. So check what is on the iPad. Can you continue?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda shillings 6.25 billion.
Honorable members, let's listen to this. These monies are going to hospitals. We are the ones who have been complaining hospitals don't have workers. And we are here. You wasting. By the way, let me tell you, if you think you're going to waste my time for us not to finish, we shall finish. We are here to finish. I know my sister is not used to finishing, but today she will finish. Yes. Go ahead.
The noise is too much. Madam Speaker.
Order.
Madam Speaker, under this category, we have 6.25 billion to cater for the additional local revenue collected by local government votes over and above their respective appropriated budget.
By the way, I was joking on my sister. Yes.
And Madam Speaker, the local governments are the following: Arua City, Jinja City.
Can you hear on your local governments?
Madam Speaker, the local governments with additional local revenue are the following: Arua City, Jinja City, Lira City, Mbale City, Apache Municipal Council, Agago District, Budaka District, Bujiri District, Buweju District, Burambuli District, Bushenye District, Dokoro District, Jinja District, Kaliro District, Kasese District, Chikube District, Koboko District, Chejegwa District, Chenjojo District, Chotera District, Mbarara District, Mitoma District, Moroto District, Nakapiripiriti District, Nakasongora District, Namisindwa District, Obonge District, Palisa District, Rwanda District, Rubirizi District, Ruchiga District, Sirongo District, Tororo District, among others. I can finish all. Madam Speaker, we have also provided for Uganda shillings 72.9 billion as additional disbursement by the World Bank for generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises GROW project. The World Bank approved and disbursed additional funds for generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises project. These funds have to be utilized, or else the grant will be cancelled at the end of this financial year. Madam Speaker, I now come to the supplemental expenditures, which are above 3% legal limit that require additional financing. And the total is 463.15 billion, and the particulars are as follows. Uganda shillings, Madam Speaker, Uganda shillings 56.95 billion for LC1, LC2, and Women Council Committee elections countrywide as directed by Cabinet. These funds are required to support the Electoral Commission to fully implement the electoral roadmap as already approved by Cabinet. Number 2, Uganda shillings 29.57 billion for AFCON 2027 preparatory activities. Honorable members, Cabinet directed that we fully fund AFCON 2027, beginning with immediate requirement in this financial year 2025-2026. These funds are required to implement the urgent preparatory works, reduce implementation risk, and keep the overall AFCON 2027 preparation program on schedule. The activities include the following. 1, Uganda shillings 14.1 billion for preliminary works at Kabalega International Airport. This one will go to Ministry of Works. 2, Uganda shillings 8.03 billion for priority road works and associated support activities in the Chira Municipal Council. 3, Uganda shillings 3.06 billion for pitch improvement at Kadiba Football Stadium. 4, Uganda shillings 0.31 billion for branding of host cities and content production for the Destination Uganda documentary. 5, Uganda shillings 1.17 billion for Hoima City and Masindi Municipality to finance sanitation and road safety interventions. 6, Uganda shillings 1.02 billion for meteorological and aviation safety support system. 7, Uganda shillings 1.8 billion for water utility preparatory works for the Hoima cluster. Madam Speaker, we also require Uganda shillings 132.9 billion for outstanding obligations under Uganda Police Force. These obligations resulted from outstanding allowances and feeding expenses for special police constables hired during the general elections and contractual obligations for procurement of the 324 troop carriers. 2, Uganda shillings 23.21 billion as counterpart funding for wage to operationalize the newly constructed seed schools under the World Bank Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer UGIFT program. And the details are provided in the annex. 5, Uganda shillings 107.52 billion for wage, pension, and gratuity shortfalls resulting from in-year salary enhancement undertaken by the Ministry of Public Service. 6, Uganda shillings 110 billion to cater for classified expenditures under Vote 002 State House. And 7, Uganda shillings 3 billion to cater for budget shortfalls for the swearing in and inaugural ceremony of the President-elect 2026, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, under Vote 001, Office of the President. Madam Speaker, I had already earlier mentioned how this supplementary will be financed, I now conclude as follows. Honorable colleagues, given the critical nature of these expenditures requirements, I pray that you consider and pass this supplementary to enable government to meet these requirements as we come to close of the financial year, and all of them cannot wait for the new financial year. I beg to move for the House's consideration.
Thank you,
Right,
thank you,
Honorable
Honorable Musasizi. Also in the VIP gallery, we have Honorable Kitty Peter from Tow County, Boko. We have Honorable Atuhairaire Arthur Kazora from Ruhinda. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Yes, you've heard the supplementary that a shadow.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, from what the Minister has read, in my opinion, nothing qualifies to be an emergency. But I want to begin by thanking NRM Whip for the good mobilization. There are colleagues I have not seen for more than a year. I want to thank them.
Honorable members, all these members of parliament have been coming here. Unless you're telling me you've been half blind. Leave my members of parliament, they have been coming to the house.
Madam Speaker, I agree. When we are processing the budget, all these seats were empty. But I want to thank them. I am only fearing, because last time when SFC invaded us, they were standing like many of those NRM MPs in the corners.
Honorable.
So can I now move
Honorable.
to the motion? Yes.
Honorable, I have told you the members of parliament are elected to be in this house. So when you say that you've not been seeing these members of parliament, that is an insult to yourselves.
And I am sorry, Madam Speaker, I didn't mean to offend anyone. But if there are colleagues who have come for voting, Madam, you can ask them to excuse themselves. We need some air. These ones who are standing everywhere, they will be notified that voting has started.
Can you bring, there is an order. There is an order.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Is my senior friend and brother, Semuju, in order to begin calling us SFC like you do not know us. You have been seeing us in this house. And then you are there saying you want fresh air. So you are going to get out, I sit where you are seated. Because I'm respecting you to sit while you talk, and I'm here. So the order is Semuju in order to begin calling us SFCs when he knows that we are members of parliament, really. And then you want fresh air. You go out, we sit where you sit.
But Honorable Semuju, for me, I have enough fresh air. If you're squeezed there, just bring your seat next to me. Come and sit next to me. Because to the best of my knowledge, this place is very high. The hair here is good enough for everybody. And nobody who is standing here is an SFC. Why do you talk
Speaker,
about SFC?
I was just sympathetic. If they don't care, they can continue standing, and I withdraw. I was just sympathetic to them. But the motion, Madam Speaker, we have just considered the budget. In the budget, Madam Speaker, this government did not provide 4 billion for the National Curriculum Development Center to complete the new syllabus, especially for our children in senior 6 who are going to sit for exams. They never had 4 billion in the budget we have just finished. They also denied UNEB 80 billion to train teachers who are going to mark senior 6, the first group that is going to sit under a new curriculum. And in their mind, they have money to organize a ceremony. Because the president can be sworn in. When he captured the power, he was sworn in here at the staircases of parliament. And the sun rose and set. But you have children, 100,000. They are going to sit for exams. You did not find 2 billion for national curriculum development to complete their 34 subjects. You never gave UNEB 80 billion for them to train teachers to go and mark these children. And you have brought here money that we are going to have a ceremony, just eating. I don't know what's wrong with NRM people. So that you can deny our children an opportunity to study, and then you bring money here for eating. You should be ashamed of yourself. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Semuju now wants to go beyond his appropriation role to now budget execution. Madam Speaker, in the budget we passed, all those votes he's mentioning were appropriated money for. Yes. And what is...
Honourable members, why are you shouting like we're in national
They were appropriated for, but Madam Speaker, the common practice, which all colleagues know, that every vote comes to this House with unfunded priorities. So he's just taking us to the list of unfunded priorities, which is a wish list. There is what you want and what we can provide. And we were satisfied that what we provided is sufficient to make the votes run through the year. If there is anything along the way that we didn't provide for, if something occurs during implementation of the budget, we shall now come back here and ask for the money.
Honourable members, it is this same government that brought the new curriculum. And it is to the best interest of government to ensure that the new curriculum is implemented. Can I hear from the Prime Minister? Let me hear from Lob first before.
Madam Speaker, you see, there is a reason why our laws are to a great extent very clear. The Public Finance Management Act provides for supplementaries. They are within the law. But there is a coding, there is a justification for supplementary budget. Unforeseeables. I am struggling, really struggling, to understand how unforeseeable some of these things are, in all honesty. That we have got to do it in a haste. You said this is our last supper, our last sitting, you said. So I
did not say that.
You used the words last supper, Madam Speaker. I don't know what you meant. But you used it twice. Anyhow, Madam Speaker, we are closing down as Parliament, and we seem to be in a haste to appropriate money for what we are saying is unforeseeable. I am struggling to understand how unforeseeable some of these things are. We've talked about the inaugural ceremony. There is money for ATIAC, Right Honourable Speaker, 37.9 billion. We have been here and we have screamed our voices hoarse about projects like ATIAC. There is another one, Day by a Farmer.
Honourable Musasi, I want you to listen on ATIAC.
Madam Prime Minister, don't interrupt Honourable Musasi. He needs to listen to these critical issues. We have talked about Day by a Farmer, which was given free money, 778 billion. money was given to Inspire Africa Coffee Factory in Tungamo, 180 billion plus. Rocco, 260 billion shillings plus. Of course, there's Lubowa Specialized Hospital, which has become a white elephant. We then talked about Atiak Sugar Factory. So far, 668 billion shillings over the years to Atiak Sugar Factory. It's a factory I went to visit with colleagues, and there is no sugar coming out of there for the last couple of years. But every year we keep appropriating money. Now we're even bringing money through a supplementary for Atiak Sugar Factory. Help me understand. Who is this Atiak person that we have got to keep giving them money, billions of shillings on an annual basis, that now it even has to come through a supplementary, that it is an emergency? Right, Honourable Speaker, to the taxpayers who are watching us, we could be seen as conduits of fraud. Fraud is when you are paid for a service and you don't deliver it. You have given 668 billion shillings so far to Atiak. No sugar is coming out of there, and this is free money. You want to add them money. For what? I don't understand.
Thank you.
Right, Honourable Speaker, the classified that's indicated here, within the 3% legal limit, 300 billion. Outside the 3%, 110 billion. That's a total of 410 billion shillings. Look, every country will have a classified budget. But you see, your classified budget has got to be tethered to your revenue. You cannot be a heavily indebted poor country and you keep having trillions of classified budget. Now you have a supplementary for classified 410 billion shillings. A few days to the closure of government. What are you going to do in these few days for this classified of 410 billion shillings? Honourable Speaker, yes, our rules can be suspended and all of that, but these things should make sense to the taxpayer. They should make sense. Now, the taxpayer might try and understand you on the hospitals and so on, and hopefully that money will go to the hospitals. Because many times we pass money for some of these things and it is wired. When you read the accountability reports, you see money was transferred from this and taken to something else. So hopefully for the hospital money, it gets to do that. But help the taxpayer to understand this 410 classified budget billion. For a few days, government is closing down. Billions to Atiak Sugar Factory that you've been giving money. Nothing is happening there. I want to understand, Right, Honourable Speaker. I genuinely want to understand from Prime Minister and her team. Help me and the taxpayer whom you're going to squeeze a lot more. You recently passed here more money, higher taxes on fuel and so on. So the taxpayer is paying for these things. Help the taxpayer to understand.
Thank you.
We are waiting.
Thank you. Honourable Musasizi.
Madam Speaker, I wish to clarify on the issue of 3% and above 3%. Madam Speaker, this schedule, I have justified it in 3 categories. We have expenditures which are within the 3% legal limit, amounting to 519 billion. And here, Madam Speaker, we have already spent, we have come here to seek for retrospective approval of the schedule. And this is where Atiak Sugar falls, in the 3%, which we have already spent. Then we have a schedule that is budget neutral. Then we have this one, which requires additional financing, where we need authority of parliament to spend, amounting to 586.16 billion. Madam Speaker, in as far as the details of what we are doing under Atiak Sugar is concerned, in the interest of synergy, I want to, with your indulgence, the Ministry of Trade can respond to the specific activities which...
Yes, Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. As all of you know, Atiak Sugar Factory is a project that is supported by government to transform the economy of northern Uganda. Many of you who come from northern Uganda know how important that project will be. Madam Speaker, we have funded Atiak Sugar Factory to do a number of activities. One is irrigation, and Atiak Sugar Factory is finishing up the irrigation system to help guard the changing weather so that there is proper production of the sugar cane. As we speak, Madam Speaker, I know members are very much concerned with when will the sugar from Atiak Sugar Factory be put on the market. I have good news for you. Atiak Sugar Factory will start producing sugar in the month of September this year. The irrigation has ended. 2026 will have sugar. So we should be able to support this sugar factory so that we have the factory running in September 2026.
Let's hear from the chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group.
Right, Honorable Speaker, as a matter of truth, the people of Uganda, including myself, has been complaining a lot about Atiak Sugar Works. What Ugandans want to see is the sugar. But unfortunately, the production started in Atiak Sugar Works. But the sugar cane that was planted got finished within a very short period. And therefore, from that point, Honorable Speaker, can I get protection, please?
Members, can you listen to Honorable Akol? Honorable Akol.
Right, Honorable Speaker, from that point, production stopped. And what was resumed in the place was that at the time when we got the equipment for working on the garden, there is a lot of plantation that has been taking place, including irrigation. It is fortunate that some people among us here have reached the place. I personally visited Atiak. What I want us, including myself, who is also complaining, we need to be patient now and wait for the production to start. I am happy that as a Ministry of Trade, they have taken more steps to make sure that the money which is given in Atiak Sugar, some of the money will be paid back to the government, including taking some of the property of Atiak Sugar Works. And I must thank the Minister for doing that. Very soon, I think some of the property will become the property of offices of the members of parliament, even here. So for that matter, what I can assure you, Right Honorable Speaker, is that there is a lot of progress and production is going to start. That is all I can say. Thank you.
There is a procedure from Jonah.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I'm raising a point of procedure. The motion by Honorable Fox Odoi was carried in this House to the extent that instead of the minister being referred to the relevant committee, now the committee of the whole House is proceeding, not debating, is proceeding to interrogate the minister. And my question, where I require you to guide, at what point do you anticipate members of parliament to ask of the minister documents? At what point, for example, does the minister report to us that a resolution of this House, where you, Madam Speaker, you are presiding, had identified loopholes in corporate governance in Atiak. Government, which is a majority shareholder there, has put way more money than what the company should have done. At what point are we going to satisfy ourselves that the figures attached and are being requested of us to approve has been answered by the minister? Even on the LC1 elections and LC2, it is not enough to come and say I need 66 billion for LC1, LC2. We need to see the list of all the villages attached, so that every member here can be sure that in my village I will not go back and they're going to ask me questions why village A is missing from the national list, and even 2. On the issue of the police, there is a figure here, Madam Speaker, of 56 billion. And the request is for reimbursement of police, special police constables. I can tell you, in Lira, and I think in many parts of the country, the special police constables have not been paid for the services they gave. And here the figure is saying reimbursement. Reimbursement presupposes that you had picked money from somewhere and paid them, but they were not paid for the work they offered. So at what point do we satisfy ourselves that actually this ministry had paid? So in terms of procedure, I'm asking you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Dur. One, we are at the budgeting processing stage for us to approve this money to go to be approved as a supplementary. On the issues of accountability, we have accountability committees that verify what this man has gone to do. For instance, this goes to Kosase, that has been managed by Honorable Segona. So it is Honorable Segona to tell us in his report that he's going to bring whether the money is being used in a proper way or not. Yes, Lob.
Honourable Speaker, I seek your procedural indulgence. We were here a couple of months ago, and I was giving a report to this House about Atiak Sugar Factory, which we give billions, no sugar coming out of there, Day by a Farmer, Inspire Africa Coffee, Rocco, and so on. The response by government was that we have acquired stake in a number of these entities. I then asked, where are the share certificates? Where are the valuation reports? Government conceded that for some of these, valuation had not happened. Honourable Speaker, I remember when money was being passed for Day by a Farmer, 723 billion at the time. We asked government, they said they had not carried out valuation. So we said, what stake are you buying if you don't know the value? You guided, Right Honourable Speaker, and you remember I disagreed with you. You said, let's pass the money. Then, government will hold that money before dispatching it to the entity, to the private company, until they do valuation. And you said they will bring the valuation report here before the money is dispatched. They have never brought that report. And I told you, once we have appropriated that money, we become functus official. The Attorney General of Uganda, the Honorable Chiriowa Chiwanuka Nsumikambi Mugambe, promised on this floor, on the Hansard, that he will come to this House and table share certificates and table valuation reports for these companies. That has never happened. But government keeps coming back for more money. What are we funding? Because when you say we have got stake, we are shareholders as government in each of these companies, where is the evidence? But also, before you acquire stake, you first do valuation. Good business people know that before you inject your money in a business to say, I'm buying, let's say 30%, what is that 30% worth? That's when you do valuation, and then you know, I am buying this much stake. These people lied to us because they have never produced those certificates. They've never produced the valuation report. So they told us a lie. Why then do you keep coming back for more money? You don't want to be transparent. Because what we want to know, you are asking us to appropriate money to what? We want that accountability. By the way, it's not even enough, Right Honourable Speaker, that sugar begins to come out of Atiak in September. As sure as day follows night, it's not going to happen. Because every year they keep promising us. But let's even say it comes out. The taxpayer is asking, what is my stake forget that sugar will come out of that private entity. What is the stake? Why don't you want to respond to these questions? But you want to keep coming, asking us for more money and all of that. No, we should not proceed this way, Right Honourable Speaker, in my view.
AJ.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the leader of opposition for his very loud submission. I'm a first time here. Loud, I heard him clearly. That's what loud means. I am a first time member of parliament like him, and I've since learned how things are brought to parliament. Normally, entities of government, where government has invested, there is an audit act. So we send the Auditor General who reports to Parliament on what has been found. I was advised that we don't just drop documents on the floor of yes, and I'm telling you, I was advised. So, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I would want to imagine that all the money that was audited, the Auditor General can give a report on that.
He has finished. You're putting order on him.
Madam Speaker.
He has finished.
Madam Speaker, under the Constitution.
He finished.
No, he gave. He's my good friend. He's my good friend.
He finished.
Under
Honorable members.
This is the chief advisor to government.
Honorable members. Honorable members. I now put a question that the supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 be and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Committee of Supply.
Honorable members, kindly sit. My son, Francis.
Total recurrent expenditure under supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026.
Honorable members, I propose a question that a total sum of Uganda shillings 894 billion 548 million 183,558 shillings be approved as a total recurrent expenditure under the supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that a total sum of Uganda shillings 894 billion 548 million 183,558 shillings be approved as a total recurrent expenditure under the supplementary expenditure number 5 for financial year 2025-2026. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Total development expenditure under supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026.
Can I have order? Can I have order? Honorable members, I propose a question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 210 billion 614 million 540,809 shillings be approved as a total development expenditure under supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that a total sum of Uganda shillings 210 billion 614 million 540,809 shillings be approved as a total development expenditure under the supplementary expenditure budget schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Grand total supplementary expenditure under supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for the financial year 2025-2026.
Honorable members, I am going to miss some of you so much in the 12th Parliament. You're such amazing guys, eh? Honorable members, I propose a question that a grand total sum of Uganda shillings 1,105 billion 162 million 724,367 shillings be approved as a grand total under supplementary expenditure schedule number 5 for 2025-2026 under the various votes that were deliberated or mentioned by the Minister of Finance and under the votes that are in the schedule. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that a grand total sum of Uganda shillings 1,105 billion 162 million 724,367 shillings be approved as a grand total supplementary expenditure under supplementary expenditure schedule for number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 for the various votes that are in the schedule. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move a motion for the House to resume and the Committee of Supply reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of Supply reports thereto. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Stand up. Please sit. Please sit.
Report of the Committee of Supply.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to report that the Committee of Supply has considered the supplementary schedule number 5 for financial year 2025-2026 amounting to Uganda shillings 1,105 billion 724,367 shillings and passed it without amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of Supply.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of Supply for Schedule number 5 of financial year 2025-2026 be adopted.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of Supply be adopted by this House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Member, thank you. I will instruct the clerk to capture the details and supply it to finance. Next item.
Item 12 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026.
You tell us. You tell me to come.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, you recall that on Wednesday 15th, 2026, the Minister of Internal Affairs tabled the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 for the first reading. Pursuant to Rule 135 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, the bill was referred to a joint committee of Defense and Internal Affairs and Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The committee has concluded the consideration of the bill and is ready to report. And pursuant to Rule 136(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister to move his motion for the second reading before I will give you to bring your issue. Please. Honorable, let him first move, then I will give you to bring your issue. Okay?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the bill you have invited this House to consider is a government bill. I saw a tweet by the head of government and a letter signed by retired General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa.
Sabalwanyi.
That's not part of the names. So in his letter, Right Honorable Speaker, he actually disowned.
Lob, is it in his letter?
Yes.
Can I
Let
have
me
a
submit, Right Honorable.
No, I want us to talk with evidence. Can we lay the letter on table?
I came prepared, Madam Speaker. Here is a copy of the letter. I am tabling it.
I have never seen a letter from State House in white.
Madam Speaker, this is a copy of the letter, and I am tabling it. Normally we table documents, then they can be processed and authenticated and so on. But let me raise the point I was raising, Madam Speaker. In this letter, he disowned the bill that was tabled by the Minister of State for Internal Affairs. In fact, he was appalled, wondering what it is that we were debating. Also, what bothered me, Madam Speaker, in his letter he said he called the two chairpersons of committees regarding this bill. I don't know how procedurally that gets to be correct, that now the executive gets to meddle directly, because it should be you, Madam Speaker, to call chairpersons of committees, guide them, and so on. But if they are getting guidance from the executive, it's a problematic issue. Madam Speaker, the Attorney General and the Minister of State for Internal Affairs went back to the Joint Committee and they made amendments to majority of the clauses in the bill. Please note, for those who have been following, amendments to majority of the clauses in the bill. For all intents and purposes, Madam Speaker and colleagues, this was now a new bill. For all intents and purposes. And by the way, there's precedents that have been set by this House, even in the previous Parliament, where...
Honourable members, I want you to listen to Lob. Lob is saying, after
let me actually say what I am saying. I'm glad you are protecting me from some noisy colleagues.
This becomes a new bill. What I would only ask, did the new bill change the objective of the old bill? You continue.
Madam Speaker, and I'm glad you're asking that question, because the entire foundation of the bill was torn apart, and no wonder the initiator...
There's a procedure.
But I rose procedurally, Madam Speaker.
No, I gave
procedure cannot counter procedure.
No, I gave you space to speak.
But I raised...
Is yes an order?
An order cannot... Honorable, you've been around for some time. You know that procedure takes around for some time. You know that procedure takes precedence. You're going to mislead the new MPs who are coming in the 12th Parliament. They need to know and learn from people. Let me proceed in earnest, Madam Speaker.
But Honorable Lob, I want to put this on record that we do not have a new bill. We only have one bill. I am the custodian of the law in Parliament. If the President wanted to make a change in that, in the law, in the bill, the President ought to have informed me. I am not aware of that. It has not come to my attention. I am the one processing the bills here. So if he sent it for public, and if he called the chairpersons, he's one of the Ugandans whom we should consult.
Madam Speaker, I'm glad you're saying you were not informed, and that's part of the problem I'm raising. Why was this House not informed? Especially because majority of the clauses were amended. Madam Speaker, please protect me from noisy colleagues. You always tell us that this is not a market.
Colleagues, please let the Honorable Lob finish. Let Honorable Lob finish his submission. No. Honorable members, let's be calm. I am the custodian of the law here. I don't have a new law. I don't have a new bill. So after Honorable has finished, I will ask the Minister to move his bill. You finish.
Thank you. So as I was saying, this is me saying, and you will rule and guide. For all intents and purposes, as far as I am concerned, this then became a new bill because majority of the clauses in the bill were changed. And there is precedents where ministers have been told, no, those so many amendments, just withdraw the bill and reintroduce it perhaps. What the Minister for Internal Affairs and Attorney General should have done was to withdraw this bill.
Honorable Lob, my...
But Madam Speaker, you're not even allowing me to submit.
Honorable
Let me submit. You're the one going to rule.
Please, Honorable Lob, my brother. Honorable Lob. Honorable Lob. Honorable Lob. Can I have order? Can I have order? we have now started debating in anticipation. We don't know what the bill is. When the minister moves his bill, that's when we can reject. Huh? Please make my work easy. No, you leave Honorable Lob to finish. Switch on.
Madam Speaker, actually I am seeking to make your work easier. Really, if you capture what it is that I'm saying, because they are moving it for the second time. And for me, what I was saying is you should have been moving to withdraw the bill. That's my opinion. And you're going to give your ruling, Madam Speaker. So no, but they called for reading of the bill for second and third reading.
Okay.
So let me finish the issue that for me I am raising.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, also, stakeholders.
What is the procedural matter that you are raising now?
So the procedural matter I'm raising is, should the Minister of Internal Affairs be withdrawing his bill and then he goes back for consultation?
Can I answer
Finally,
that first? Can I answer that first? Maybe it will form your second question. That the Minister of Internal Affairs should be moving his motion for the second reading. Because as far as I know, I have not been given another motion. I only have one motion. So you will move your second motion for the second reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm glad on record you have said you were not notified of the second one. That's something we are going to interrogate, because like I'm saying, as far as some of us are concerned, it's a second one. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee report to this bill here leaked and it is in the public domain. It was first shared on our parliament platforms, media houses have shared it, it is all over. Honorable Speaker, on 18th of January 2023, you were seated in the chair you're seated in, and I was standing on this very microphone. I was chairperson of COSASE. I rose to present a committee report for COSASE on Uganda Airlines. And you said, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to quote you verbatim what was on the Hansard. You said, there was a leakage of the Uganda Airlines report. A property of this parliament cannot leak, and we continue debating on it. Those were your exact words captured on the Hansard. Honorable Speaker, this report has leaked. So, given that precedent which you said, are we going to go ahead and debate this leaked report?
Thank you.
Because the precedent was set by yourself. We hope to be ready.
First of all, honorable members, in the VIP gallery, I want to introduce Honorable Namlondo Sara, MP-elect from Buyende. You're most welcome. Honorable Naku Fiona, the elect for workers. Most welcome, Fiona Naku. And then we have
Basaba ne banyabo. Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi. Abadde mu parliament. Ngenda kuzeyo mu parliament ne kano Jessica nkayiseewo. N'abuuza Speaker of Parliament. Etteeka lino lye mugenda oyisa. Oluvannyuma lwa Museveni oyita Obu, Chief Whip wa NRM. N'amugamba nti genda okyuse etteeka lino siri etteeka lye nabagamba, because mu kiwandiiko kye Museveni agamba etteeka abantu mwe lye mumuvinga siri etteeka lye nabatuma. Ddayo okyuse etteeka lino muteekemu ebintu bye nabatuma. Ekyo kiba kitegeeza officially nti this bill is different from the bill they moved in the first place. Now, omukyala Anita Mongu n'agamba this is the same bill. Lwaki otukonfusinga? Jolse n'amugamba nti kale ogambe nti etteeka ppya ekitegeeza musobola dimuvinga. That means kandete another point. N'amugamba nti we yali mu kaseera nga kyali kya person wa COSASE yaleeta ekiteeso ku nsonga za Kosase. Ensonga ezo mbu ne ziriikinga mu mawulire. Omukyala Anita Among n'agaana okuddamu okuleeta ensonga ezo ku floor of parliament ng'agamba nti ensonga ezo zaaliikinze mu mawulire. Same happens to this bill. Waliwo ensonga ezaaliikinze mu mawulire. Now, akubi Anita Among Q point nga mutuufu talina wasobola gyetaasizaamu. Anita Among ebintu akyusiza bikyuse n'agamba tugende mu maaso. Bassebo ne bannyabo. Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert Bobi Wine walonda Joel Sonyonyi Wamala. Wamanya nti kana akasajja bano abantu kabamanyi. Ladies and gentlemen, kankuzeeyo mu parliament.
And honorable members, in keeping with Rule 130 of the Rules of Procedure of this Parliament, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 be read the second time.
Seconded by the Vice President of Republic of Uganda, Honorable Jessica Alupo, retired. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Nabanja Robina, Honorable Second Hajat, Third Government Chief Whip, Minister of Defense, Minister of the Security, Minister of ICT, Minister of Finance, Minister of Works, Minister of Sports, and the Hollow House on this side. And part of that house, part of the other side, including Chemongesi, Rogomayo. Thank you. Would you want to speak to your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members,
can I first have a justification before you bring the procedure?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the object of this bill is that the country faces a number of challenges which threaten our ability to self-govern in the absence of a sovereignty-specific law which this law seeks to address. And these include preventing undue external influence, regulating foreign funding, safeguarding national security, filling legal gaps, and managing digital misinformation. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, I want to provide some guidance in this. Honorable members, the chairpersons of the committees have prepared the report. And I wish to guide as follows. From the time the bill was tabled for the first reading, there has been a very remarkable public interest in it. A review of the committee report reveals that more than 60 witnesses were accorded opportunity to present their views on the bill, including persons and institutions. These answers and questions on whether there was sufficient public consultation or not, I commend the committee for upholding our cardinal principle of public participation. 2, there was a considerable debate on the content of the bill, notably the definition of the word foreigner, the scope of application of this bill, the regulatory prudence envisaged in administration and functions, the proposed penalties, the criminal offenses, regulations of foreign policies, registration of agents of foreigners, declaration of foreign funding, and ministerial powers, among others. I have reviewed the report. The committee has established that the contentious matters have been exhaustively handled and addressed as per the public interest. The definition of a foreigner, for instance, was initially brought in a way that was not appealing to the people, but the committee has handled. Now I want members, there's no procedure, I'm giving you guidance. I know I'm touching on your minorities. Honorable members, I am giving 30 minutes for the major report to be presented, and I am saying 30 minutes. Where is the chair? And I will also give, I am aware that is a minority report. It doesn't matter whether minorities or minority. I am also giving the minority or minorities 30 minutes. If you have 10 minorities, you'll divide 30 minutes by 10 and you'll have 3. Honorable Chair, unanswered, I want timing. Let him read his report. Then you will bring process. I don't want you to waste his time. Tebandeke, I know you want to exercise your law that you're learning now. You first wait. First wait. First wait. First wait. I have given you 30 minutes.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, for the record, my name is Wilson Kajenje, Member of Parliament, Nyabushozi constituency, and Chairperson of Defense and Internal Affairs Committee. I'll be assisted by my colleague, the Honorable Baka Stephen Mugabi, Chairperson, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. May I take the honor to lay on the table the minutes of the committee, the joint committees, while processing and considering this report.
Thank
But
you,
Honorable
President.
Speaker, indeed, I'll take the 30 minutes. But Honorable Speaker, on Wednesday, 15th April 2026, the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 was read for the first time under Rule 135(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. You referred to the joint committee made up of Committees of Defense and Internal Affairs and the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for scrutiny, and we are now reporting under the same rule of procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, the joint committee here referred to as the committee has examined the bill, taking into account submissions from stakeholders, and now presents this report. This report sets the committee's analysis of the bill's objectives, the key provisions, likely effects, together with the synthesis of stakeholder views and the committee's recommendations to Parliament. The object of the bill. The object of the bill is to enact a law that seeks to provide for the protection of the sovereignty of the people of Uganda. 2, to designate the department responsible for peace and security and the responsible entity for the registration and regulation of agents of foreigners. 3, to provide for the protection of the sovereignty of Uganda and provide for the registration of agents of foreigners, and to regulate the funding and any other assistance to agents of foreigners and for the related matters. Defects in the existing law. The bill identifies principal defect in the existing legal framework as the absence of a specific law operationalizing the protection of Uganda's sovereignty, which has allowed continued external interference in the government policies and programs. In particular, it points out the increasing influence of foreign actors and their agents in shaping policy and development priorities, often through conditional grant, conditional funding, and parallel programs that conflict with the national objectives. It further highlights inadequate regulation of civil society organizations, especially those receiving foreign funding, leading to concerns about transparency and alignment with the national objectives. Additionally, the bill notes the growing use of digital platforms by foreign actors to spread misinformation and incite social discord, collectively undermining Uganda's ability to self-govern independently and safeguard its political, economic, and social stability. Right Honorable Speaker, what method did we use? Methodology. In considering the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, the committee undertook an extensive and transparent stakeholder engagement process to ensure broad participation. Public notices were published in the dailies, Vision and Monitor, on 17th April. We invited memoranda and views from all interested parties. This was to facilitate meaningful input. The committee suspended the sittings for 1 week to allow stakeholders adequate time to prepare and submit written memoranda. Upon resumption on 24th of April, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, stakeholders who had expressed interest were accorded opportunity to present their views. The committee engaged them directly, seeking clarifications where necessary. In total, and this is unprecedented, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, in total, the committee interfaced with 224 stakeholders, clustered under 60 groups, drawn from diverse sectors. In the diaspora, the Global Forum Uganda Diaspora Council, whose memoranda included views of Ugandans drawn from 32 countries across all regions that gave their perspectives on the bill. In addition to the hearing from stakeholders who appeared before the committee also took into account the perspectives shared by His Excellency the President in his guidance to the nation through his letter, particularly that was addressed to the Bazuku regarding the bill. Following these engagements, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee held further sittings during which the learned Attorney General responded to the stakeholder concerns and proposed refinements to the bill. The interactive process ensured that the review incorporated both legal scrutiny and practical implementation considerations. This structured approach, characterized by open invitations, dedicated submission time, inclusive hearings, responsible dialogue, demonstrates that the committee's work was informed by a wide participatory and national representative consultation process. The stakeholders the committee interfaced with include the following. It is important, Right Honorable Speaker, that this goes on record. We have clustered them like this. We had stakeholders under government and public institutions. These are actors with statutory mandates that include Bank of Uganda, Financial Intelligence Authority, National Planning Authority, Uganda Human Rights Commission, the parliamentary committees. We also had another cluster of legal and professional bodies and organizations that focused on the law, like Uganda Law Society, like East African Law Society, the Law Development Center, Center for Constitutional Governance, that had in their entourage former members and former ministers of government. Independent legal and legal practitioners who forwarded multiple submissions. We had political actors and movements political parties or politically affiliated formations. These include Alliance for National Transformation, Forum for Democratic Change, National Unity Platform, the People's Front for Freedom, and for the record, the Hansard must capture this, Right Honorable Speaker, that Uganda People's Congress appeared and gave their views, and that the leader of opposition also appeared and gave his views. I'm mentioning it for the capture of the Hansard. We also entertained private sector and business associations that include the Chamber of Commerce, Kampala Arcade Traders Association, Kampala City Traders Association, Uganda Small Scale Industries Association, Uganda National Traders Association, the Gen Z Business Owners Association, Innovation Village, the startup ecosystem, and the independent private sector consultants. We did not stop there. We entertained financial, insurance, economic sector actors. These include the sector-specific institutional stakeholders that include Uganda Bankers Association, supervised financial institutions like banks, mobile money operators, via sector submissions. We also entertained Payment Service Providers Association. We also entertained Uganda Forex Bureau and Money Remittances Association. They too appeared and gave their views. We also considered digital, telecom, media actors in communication, broadcasting, and digital economy, include communication sector operators, National Association of Broadcasters, media practitioners, journalists, and journalism practitioners. We also entertained civil society and non-government organizations, both domestic and international civic actors that include Anti-Corruption Coalition of Uganda, Foundation for Human Rights Initiative, Legal Aid Service Providers Association, the Rotary of Uganda, Women Pro Bono Initiative, Country Directors of International Network, and various national NGOs also submitted. We also entertained international organizations and development actors under these, multinational organizations and international cooperation actors. These include United Nations Country Team, international NGO community, collectively represented. We did not stop there, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues. We entertained the labor, religious, and social institutions that include NOTU, that include Interreligious Council of Uganda, that include Muslim Organizations Coalition, and other faith-based organizations. We entertained health, scientific community, and public health research institutions, e.g., Uganda Medical Association, Uganda Virus Research Institute, Peoples Living with HIV advocacy groups. We also entertained education and academic sector that include Makerere University Academic Staff Association, universities and academic researchers, student groups, and members of the Guild also submitted. National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, Uganda Lawyers Voice on Climate Change, Gender Rights and Advocacy, Climate Advocacy groups. We also entertained diaspora, transnational communities, Ugandan actors, the Global Forum. This is an organization that groups all Ugandans in the diaspora. The Cheyo Association, NUP, NUP Diaspora Chapter, individual diaspora submissions. We went further and entertained professional and individual submissions. These are unaffiliated and cross-cutting. Independent consultants, individual citizens, business professionals, researchers. Right Honorable Speaker, we consulted documents. Consequently, the committee recommendations reflect a balanced synthesis of stakeholder perspectives in the key findings and salient observations. Right Honorable Speaker, permit me to present key findings and salient observations on the Sovereignty Protection Bill of 2026. Introductory consideration, looking at the scope and interpretation of Clause 2. Before presenting its findings, the committee found it prudent to clarify the key interpretive issue of Clause 2, which is application of the bill. Clause 2 sits at the core of the legislative framework. and it defines the reach of the law and it determines who is regulated and what circumstances and for what conduct. The committee reviewed the Honorable Attorney General's comments, noting that Clause 2 limits the bill to specific activities tied to foreign influence. According to the learned Attorney General interpretation, the bill does not apply to a person generally, to all persons generally, that it applies only to persons acting as agents of foreign actors, and that even then, only where such a person is engaged in specific conduct, including influencing government policy, political processes, or public decision-making for the interest of foreigners. The Attorney General clarified that Clause 2 is meant to limit the bill, not to expand it. He guided that it applies only to agents of foreign actors and only when they engage in specific influence-related activities, e.g., affecting government policy, policies, or public decision-making. In addition, the learned Attorney General noted that the bill is activity-based, not identity-based. So ordinary transactions like remittances, businesses, family support are excluded unless tied to regulated influence. On this reading, the bill presented a targeted regulatory instrument aimed at structured foreign influence operations rather than legitimate international engagement. However, the committee observes that this interpretation, while persuasive as a matter of policy intent, is not shared by the majority of stakeholders. There is a gap between the AG's intended narrow scope and how the bill is actually drafted. When Clause 2 is read together with broad definitions in Clause 1 and the expansive list of activities, including concepts such as influencing public opinion and activities that the minister may prescribe, stakeholders interpreted the bill as having a much wider practical effect. The East African Law Society, for example, in their submission, warned that the term agent of a foreigner in Clause 2 could apply to regular economic, professional, and family connections, such as employees of foreign businesses, traders, and those receiving support from relatives abroad. The Law Development Center noted that in Clause 2 does not distinguish harmful actions from lawful ones. So the people could be held liable simply because of the associations, not because they caused any actual harm. This divergence, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, reveals a fundamental issue. The intended limitations of Clause 2 are not sufficiently clear on the face of the law, creating uncertainty as to the boundary between harmful foreign influence and legitimate activity. While the Attorney General maintains that Clause 2 limits application to specific regulated activities, stakeholders consistently note that this limitation is not clearly reflected in drafting. Therefore, the committee found that the line between harmful foreign interference and legitimate activities is unclear. Clause 2 is meant as a safeguard, but not effectively to limit the bill. This gap policy and the law shapes all the committee's subsequent findings. 5.2, understanding sovereignty. We looked at what the 1995 Constitution says versus what the bill proposes. Sovereignty under the 1995 Constitution as amended. This committee discussed sovereignty referencing the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Herein
when I cannot stand, lift my soul with your gentle hand. Be the rock.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, Fidia Parliament, Jebade Wade, the public feed, ejiddwako. It has been, I think, intentionally terminated because bukyanga parliament etandika kubeera live tebajjangako feed yaabwe. Ejiddwako nga wabula eddakiika ntono nnyo nga omukulu oyo abadde ayogera amaliriza okusoma ebyo bye baatuuseeko okuva lwe baatandika okuteekayo bbiiru eyo. Kino kitegeeza ki? Nti right now the parliament is in the dark. No one knows what is happening right now in the parliament. Tewali amanyi oba ababaka bagezezzaako baguguba obavuvuba. They have switched it off. Nga bwe kyali ku tteeka lya coffee, parliament bagiswitchinga off. It was in the dark. Twagenda okuddamu otegeera ng'ababaka batugamba batukubye, batukutte, basibye oli, batutte oli. That is what happened that day. Etteeka lya sovereignty bill nga bakalitandika oddisoma, feed ya parliament neekuukako. Remember, waliwo media houses. Si buli media house nti yayingira ne reporting mu parliament. No. Not every media house can report in parliament. No. Bonna feed yaabwe bagijja wamu. That is UBC. Buli ayagala reportinga yalina okujja feed. Kati wetwogerera feed eya UBC ejiddwako bamaze finally ne bagikomyawo bassebo ne banyaba. Kati tusubire nti okay, we are back. Katuwulirize tukomewo tovaawo.
To the people, with the government acting as a trustee, the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 regards the state as primary guardian of sovereignty and adopts a cautious approach to foreign-linked actors. Whereas the Constitution vests sovereignty in the people of Uganda, the bill focuses on the protection of sovereignty through state action, reframing sovereignty in the security terms and promoting stricter regulation of foreign influence. We looked at broad definitions and the scope. The committee found that the bill definition of foreigner and the agent of a foreigner are overly broad. And as defined in the bill, it wrongly includes Ugandans living abroad. It wrongly includes students. It wrongly includes researchers. It wrongly includes professionals working in international partners. It wrongly includes government ministries, departments and agencies exercising regulatory authority under any act of parliament, and organizations and companies that simply have foreign investors or cross-border businesses. Instead of targeting harmful foreign interference, the bill inadvertently ends up covering normal economic, academic, and community activities. This, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, blurs the line between harmful foreign interference and ordinary lawful activities, it making everyday economic, academic, and civil engagements legally risky. Clause 1 and 2 are specifically powerful in determining who is regulated and punished, and even raising constitutional questions about citizenship by classifying Ugandans abroad as foreigners. Stakeholders warned that this could criminalize normal cooperation, such as research, education, and diaspora support. In fact, the Law Development Center has termed it as regulatory contamination, where indirect foreign links extend liability across entire economic and social chains. The committee therefore recommends, 1, that to restore legal precision, to ensure proportionality, and to align the bill with constitutional principles and practical realities, the committee recommends the following. Amend the definition of a foreigner to limit it to non-citizens and foreign registered companies. Amend the definition of agent of a foreigner to only include people who formally and knowingly act on behalf of a foreigner to influence public policy, elections, or national security. Insert new definitions of words and phrases used in the bill to improve clarity. Insert an intent requirement which the land colleagues call mens rea, so liability only arises with deliberate influence. 5. Insert a clause explicitly protecting legitimate economic, academic, humanitarian, developmental, and civic activities to prevent misinterpretation and ensure lawful activities are not captured by the bill. 5.4, creation of a parallel regulatory regime. The committee observed that the bill creates a new approval and monitoring system under the Ministry of Internal Affairs. However, many sectors in Uganda are already tightly supervised by strong regulators, these include Bank of Uganda, Financial Intelligence Authority, the Uganda Communications Commission, Insurance Regulatory Authority, and university councils. Stakeholders argued that the bill repeats work already done by these regulators and may create conflicting rules instead of improving oversight. This duplication can lead to confusion about which rules apply, multiple reporting requirements, and uncertainty for businesses and institutions. For example, both telecommunications and banking sectors already operate under strict regulatory systems. Adding another regulator with similar powers could disrupt systems that are currently functioning well. The committee notes that these sectors are already governed by detailed laws and licensing frameworks. Stakeholders also warn that the bill could create a parallel system, quote unquote, run by a security-linked department that may not have technical expertise of existing regulators. Media organizations, too, pointed out that the issues such as foreign funding, transparency, external influence are already addressed under current laws, including anti-money laundering legislation and the NGO regulation. The private sector representatives highlight the economic impact of the bill, more uncertainty, more regulators to certify, and higher costs of doing business. Stakeholders caution that the bill risks creating duplication, institutional conflict, and opportunities for forum shopping. The committee recommends, therefore, that in light of these concerns, the committee recommends that all institutions and individuals already supervised by a regulator established under an act of parliament should be exempted from the bill. Concentration of executive power in the minister. The bill gives the minister responsible for internal affairs wide and layered powers. These include authority to 1, define the key terms used in the law, 2, approve or reject the foreign funding, 3, register or cancel organizations, and determine how the law will operate through regulations. The committee notes that while each of these powers may be common in isolation, their combination in a single office creates a system where participation in economic, civic, or institutional activities depends heavily on the minister's approval. This raises a deeper constitutional concern, not just about administrative efficiency, but about the overall design of governance. The committee elaborates these issues under 3 major themes, from regulatory oversight to discretionary control, where stakeholders observed that the minister's power and the role goes beyond implementing the law. The minister effectively controls access to the law itself, and the minister can decide who falls under the law, who controls access to funding, grant or withdraw the legal status, and shape how the law functions in practice. This, we noted, it risks turning the framework into permission-based system where individuals and organizations must seek approval to operate instead of following clear, predictable rules. It also has constitutional implications. This concentration of authority raises significant constitutional concerns. It weakens the separation of powers by placing too much control in one office. It reduces checks and balances from independent institutions. It increases the risk of unfair or arbitrary decisions, especially where the bill lacks clear procedures timelines or appeal mechanisms. A system that relies on discretion rather than clear rules undermines the legal authority. No, I beg your pardon, undermines legal certainty and public trust. We also looked at reframing sovereignty. The committee notes that many legal and governance submissions view this more than an administrative matter. They see it as a shift in how sovereignty is exercised. Instead of power flowing through established institutions and the people, it risks being concentrated in one single office. From human rights perspectives, any limitation on rights must meet 3 tests. 1, legality, necessity, proportionality. The bill does not clearly demonstrate how these standards are satisfied. We therefore recommend, the committee recommends that to preserve the bill's objective, I beg your Can I conclude? Thank you. Let me read. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Citizen residing outside Uganda. Remove the power of the minister to declare any person a foreigner. Remove the restriction on recruitment and employment of a person who are abroad from disruptive activities. Provide for the elements of an offense. Avoid unnecessary bureaucracy in the implementation of the policy. Replace ministerial approvals with the declaration of funds to the relevant for 200,000 currency points to 1,000